Good morning, beautiful souls. It is Elizabeth Bratcher, psychic medium, doing your daily reading for the 21st of May. I had to look then. Isolation makes the days blend a little bit, doesn't it? It is a little bit later this morning, guys. My apologies, but I did have lots of readings this morning. Okay, so thank you so much to everyone who has subscribed already to my YouTube channel. That is very appreciated. If you haven't, please do so while you're here. Sunday you'll see the weekly lives come out with tarot, the weekly readings come out for your star signs with tarot, and also on the first of each month as well. So if you'd like something that also follows on to a little bit more in depth, then please, as I said, subscribe and you'll get to see those readings as they are released as well. So how this works, guys, is I'm going to pull out 3 cards, and all you need to do is just take a breath and allow your energy to be drawn to a certain card. Okay, so you'll be drawn to either number 1, number 2, or number 3. Lots of times you'll be drawn to the energy of 2 cards, possibly all 3, and that is okay as well. There's a resonating message in more than one. That is all that means for you today. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to pull 3 cards randomly out of the deck. I don't know what they are. So there's number 1. Number 2, and finally for today, I'm stuck. Which one do I want? That one. Okay, and there's number 3. So guys, I am using my own deck. It is a beta deck, which means that it has been printed to non-professional standards at this moment so that I can have a play with it for a couple of weeks before I do. And there was a reason why in the end I did that, because I've already found a mistake. All right, so guys, take a breath. Are you drawn to number 1? Are you drawn to number 2? Or are you drawn to number 3? Don't think about it too much. Your first answer is always the correct one. Beautiful. So I'm going to pop number 3, pop number 2 off up here to the sides, and let's see what number 1 has for today. I am almost certain that this was either number 1 or 2 yesterday. There you go. And as I said to you guys, that absolutely doesn't surprise me. We're reading on what's the daily, and to be quite frank with you, those big things in our life, they don't change from one day to the next. And so this is why you're going to see that repeating message. So absolutely. And always remember, guys, these are general readings, reaching out to lots and lots of you. So take what resonates with you and leave what doesn't. Okay. And so for number 1, you've got clearing out the stables, out with the old and in with the new. All right, let's see what else it has to say. Frustration and healing. Nice. Okay. So guys, what your message is here for number 1, okay? It's clearing out the stables. And as you guys can see, I've clearly put a nice big shovel of poo on this card, simply because, that is the energy of it. Out with the old and in with the new. What is no longer serving you that you need to get rid of, okay? And this message is carrying over numerous days because it wants you to listen. Okay, there's something here that is going to create a beautiful shift, and what it's letting you know is that it is all about moving forward. Very much the energy has been carried through, and it's just reminding you in different ways, and today it is letting you know that it does. It's going to bring in that healing. So clearing out the stables is definitely the key card for number 1 today. Frustration, this is how you're going to feel, okay? And as it says, take a breath and just regroup, He's all cranky. Because what happens is when we do have to make some big changes, when we do have to clear energy out, it generally requires a little bit of hard work. It can require sometimes stepping on people's toes, making some big changes, all of that kind of thing. And, this frustration very much, helps describe how we feel through that, because it can be frustration because I don't want to let that person down, or frustration because there's this underlying risk or fear that things aren't going to work out. And if I just leave them the way they are, but I don't want to leave them the way they are. It's that kind of frustration that I'm really feeling around the cards. And so, as it says, take a breath and just regroup. Remember why you're doing this. Remember why you set out to make out these changes in the first place, why you felt the need to do that. And so, by doing that, allow yourself for a moment to focus on what it's going to feel like when you do actually reach that goal, when you do make these changes, when you do have that new energy, that weight taken off of your shoulders, whatever it is that's representing for you. Allow yourself to sit into that, and it's going to motivate you and help you to really throw some real positive energy into clearing out the stables. All right, okay. And what this one is all about healing, all right? And so it's being patient, but allowing the healing in, all right? Because it involves letting go. It involves forgiveness. It involves letting go of anger and resentment that you've held towards people and experiences because it is simply what they are deemed to deserve. But as I always say, you know, when we hold on to those energies, when we hold on to those feelings and emotions, the only person that's having a crap day is you. Okay, the person that you're resonating those feelings over to, they're off doing their own thing. They probably don't even know that you're thinking about them. All right, and so, or the experience, and if it is an experience, that experience is a memory. It's gone. It's a moment in energy, you know. And so, what purpose does it serve? Beyond they deserve it, beyond I deserve to feel this way, because you know what, you don't, yes, you deserve the right, but you don't deserve the negative of it. Okay, so be really mindful about what feeling like you're within your rights of what you deserve to do. Okay, and so yeah, there's a little bit of food for thought in this for you guys, number one today. All right, it's a frustration and you know, allowing that healing to come in. That's the key word. All right, the healing can be abound all around us, but if we're not open to receiving it, if we're shut off to the energy, it's useless, and that moment will pass us by. Okay, so number one, that's what I have for you today. So I'm going to pop over this card over to the side and let these two little puppies back into the deck. And let's see what number two has to say. Balance. Yes, guys, this card did make an appearance as well yesterday, I do believe, and the day before, and possibly the day before that. And as I said, it is because we're doing daily reads. Our lives don't change dramatically from that one day to the next as far as those bigger lessons and bigger pictures, you know. So absolutely take this as validation when you're resonating, that you're resonating for the right reasons, okay? So number two, let's see what else is coming out for you today. Shit happens and changes. Nice, okay. All right, so number two, the message that I have for you today is the balance. It's the yin and yang of life, you know. It's keeping that balance of positive, of negative, of a good day and a bad day, of you know, black and white basically. And so with these cards, this card here, shit happens. Okay, what this card basically means is just that, you know. It's a good old saying that's there, and I very deliberately covered this card with other words because, you know, I've got this. It's all good. That's life. This too shall pass. Love. You know, all of those kind of positive things that are around it, because it is just a moment in time. Shit does happen. Sometimes some things come along that have created changes or forced us to make changes that we didn't want or that we weren't expecting. It happens. Okay, and what this really, really symbolizes is just that. It's not the end of the world. You know, and even this morning, I was having this conversation. I've had this conversation so many times through this COVID side of things that's there, that out of adversity, out of choices that weren't our choice, out of choices that, you know what I'm trying to say there, choices that weren't our choice. But it is choices that weren't our choice, having to make choices when we weren't ready to. You know, all of that kind of energy that's there, it all leads to something better. It forces us into that next step. It's like, oh, well, we've got time, I may as well give it a go. You know what I mean? And so really, honestly, the energy is look for the positive. Look for the positive in this. Look for the positive opportunities that are in here, because it's showing it can see. Be open to embracing the change. Be open to the fact that this can bring some really positive changes to you, and that this is your moment. This is your moment to sit there and go, I have the freedom and the space around me right now to make these changes. And those changes can be personal, they can be professional, they can be within relationships, but something has happened here that has allowed you to have an opportunity to make changes. Okay, now this card has popped out as well in the last couple of weeks, a couple of times, not every single day as much as the balance and the old clearing out the stables has, but absolutely it has made an appearance. All right, and so for number two, as I said, your message today is, I feel the key card is this one for you, and it is just that. It's shit happens, okay? Life happens. Look at it as an opportunity. I don't care in what component we're sitting in today. As I said, this is a general message, but the energy is strong. I want to emphasize it. I'm feeling passionate about this, okay? Let the changes that have been forced upon you open the doors to something else that you want. Even if what you had was what you wanted, it's going to be even better this time around, okay? So balance, guys. The good and the bad. All right. Let's pop these two back into the deck, number two over to the side, and let's see what number three has for us today. Detox. It was funny, actually, when I pulled these cards out of the box, that card jumped out at me, so, whoops, I'm not surprised that I see it. All right, let's see what else it wants to wants to go out with... There's a couple of these cards that look so much better when they're going to be printed. That card just jumped out. And there's a frustration again. Okay, nice. All right, number 3. So it's time to let go of what no longer serves. Detox. You'll find that your message resonates quite closely to number 1. All right. And so detox is just that, you know, for me, when I was creating this card, it's an explosion. As I said, it's a beta deck. It's not printed off properly, but this is a volcanic explosion. It's erupting, you know, and I kind of imagined, like, as gross as it is, you know, like a big pimple that just explodes out, you know what I mean? Because then the volcano, because then the reason why I was kind of drawn around that is because it's like, you know, all that thing that causes us pain and is festering and it has an infection and, you know, all that kind of stuff that's there, and it's exploding, it's releasing, it's going, it's gone, you know, and it makes us feel better. Might have a little bit of a wound afterwards, it needs to be healed and cleaned, but, you know, it's gone. We can start to heal. And so, you know, this is for you, number 3. It's a stronger energy. Like when we're clearing out the stables and things like that, you know, that's definitely the energy I want to keep there. But when the detox card comes out, okay, it's that message, but it's also got that extra oomph. As I said, the description that I gave you guys is probably quite gross, but there's a reason for that, and that is because this is the harder work. This is just letting it go. It's like it's almost about to go and you just got to do those last few little moments and bang, it's gonna. Okay, so detox, all right? It is definitely time to let go of what no longer serves, what is causing you pain and injury and, you know, allowing your physical body not to feel the way it should, allowing your heart and your brain not to feel the way that it should. So when you've got the intuition card out, it's telling you, trust your psychic senses, okay? Trust your senses. And it's what the card is coming out for is just to let you know that this isn't easy, all right? This does have some challenges along the way. So sit with your gut. Sit with what your gut's telling you. It's going to remind you that you're doing the right thing. It's going to give you answers and solutions on how to listen and to your body and what it needs and all of that kind of stuff that's there. But very much trust on your intuition. It's going to very, very, very strongly instate to you that you're doing the right thing here. So when the frustration card comes out with this, I'm feeling like some of these changes, you're like, do I have to? I don't want to. It's just easier this way, you know. A good example of that's, I guess, smoking and dieting and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not saying that that's what this resonates to, but for any of you guys that have been stuck in those throes, it is so much easier just to keep smoking, or it is so much easier to, you know, think about having a diet tomorrow and everything else like that. But we know we've got to do it. Again, it's that frustration. It's like, you know what I mean? But be frustrated in a really positive way, because once you release, once you let all of this go, yeah, it's going to open up really nicely, okay? And you're going to be so very happy that you did. All right, so number 3, that is the message that I have for you today. Just interestingly enough, I read something last night about, you know, when we're connecting to guides and we're meditating or we're praying or we're contemplating, you know, whatever form that you do like to do, is about listening, you know, that we're always asking questions, and very much so when it comes to intuition, this bounce as well, you know, we're asking questions. What should I do? What do I need to do? And so we ask all these questions, but then we don't spend any time listening. You know, we wait for this big sign on a bus that says, you know, this is the way, kind of thing. When the answers are coming through, the answers will come through. So yeah, just take a moment to listen. And that's for 3, 2, and 1, which I'm about to just reflect over. So I said, number 1, number 3, you got very similar pull today, but this one's a little bit more challenging, but definitely, you know, keeping the balance. So number 1, you got clearing out the stables, 2, balance, and 3, detox, all right? So again, guys, thank you very much for joining me today. It is always a pleasure to read for you guys. I'm loving the feedback and I appreciate the moments that you take to do that. Again, please subscribe if you haven't already. Sunday, you'll see the weekly feeds, and I will have a live feed on Facebook over the next day or 2 as well. Other than that, have a beautiful day. Again, thank you so much for joining me. Take care of yourselves and give a little bit of food for thought for what I've spoken about today there, because I'm really feeling it today. I'm really feeling like I want to emphasize the message. So yeah, just take a moment. All right, have a beautiful day, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow.